down the tier. Besa Latino. Program time.
Mich panseco tloc deshpa, mis saludos, y respetos, full blast. Hopefully everybody's having a good day. And hey, what can I say? Greetings to all. Thank you very much for the view. Highly appreciate you stopping by and spending some time with this essay. Real quick, want to ask you, is it important for us to teach our kids Spanish? With that said, don't you ever wonder why there's a lot of Mexicanos, Chicanos, Pochos, whatever you want to label them, right? Because it's just a label, it's just a title. Why didn't their parents teach them Spanish? Okay, real quick, just want to run it down, things that I've heard. Who knows? Everybody has their own excuses, their own theories. Okay, cool. Nothing wrong with that. I'm also going to touch the importance of teaching our kids not only Spanish, but hey, the more languages, the better, right? That's just my point of view. Okay, well, I've heard one of the reasons why people didn't teach their kids any Spanish was because we are in America. Estamos en América. Y aquí se habla inglés. We are in America and you speak English. Period. Okay? Damn. Cálmate, Mr. All-American. Believe it or not, man, there's families that came from Mexico. I don't know if they were ashamed, but hey, they implemented the language. We're very strict about it. You're in America, you speak English, no Spanish. Okay, cool. So, I don't know if you would call those coconuts brown on the outside and white in the inside, whitewash. I don't know. But believe it or not, there is families like that. Maybe wanting a better future for their kids, not necessarily being whitewashed. Maybe just back in the days, people migrating from Mexico over here, they were searching for a better future for their kids, the American dream. And to succeed in this country, you needed to know English. And I understand that back in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, there was a lot of discrimination towards the Mexican nationals. They used to put them down. They were getting bullied. And for that reason, a lot of people were trying to prevent being victims of violence or discrimination. So it's understandable, people coming from Mexico wanting a better future for their kids, their families. But damn, did they ever think that things were going to change down the line? Because believe it or not, growing up, people would make fun of you if you didn't speak English. You fucking chun, you paisa. And if you would try to speak English and you would say a word a little off or with a little accent, people will get on you, clown you. And people, were starting to get embarrassed and sometimes wouldn't even bother speaking the language. So I kind of understand the point of view. Also, another reason I've heard was because of families. Mom and dad they communicate in Spanish. Adult matters. And when we're kids, we're nosy. We want to know whatever mom and dad are talking about. Do you remember being told, hey, go sit over there or go play over there? This is adult conversation. But we're out over here eavesdropping. According to this family I met, I asked her one time, how come you didn't teach your kids Spanish? That was the reason, because of communication between her and her husband. Adult matters. little examples she gave me of them being in trouble or of adult conversations they didn't want them to know, so allow them to speak English, you know. So that was that. Hey, we all have different reasons. Everybody has different point of views, perspectives. So I don't know. But now, I mean, the tables have turned. Now there's people that clown you if you don't speak Spanish. I was tripping out on that. Like, damn, wow, times have changed. People clown you now if you don't speak Spanish, and I think they call them the no sabo kids. You heard of that? Times change, man. It's a trip. Call them the no sabo kids because they don't speak English. I mean, excuse me, because they don't speak Spanish. A lot of times what happens is you approach someone that looks Latino, Mexican, just feeling familiar, you know, familiarity. And you hit them with buenos dias, or you ask them a question. Hey, where is this street at? Or where is this store at in Spanish? They look at you like, oh, I don't speak Spanish. Like, damn, you got the fucking nopal right here in the forehead. You look like a jumping bean, and I can't believe you don't speak nothing but English. Híjole. Wow. Okay. I'm not trying to put anyone down, you know. Hey, it is what it is. Some of us learned, some of us didn't. But I think it was a beautiful thing to keep up with tradition, with the culture. I would speak English at school and Spanish at home. Even when I got older, I would go home and speak Spanish to my grandparents. My grandparents from my dad's side did not speak English. They didn't even try to. And maybe a little word or, you know, one or two, but they were not really interested in picking up the language. They knew there was more money behind it, wooty woo woo woo. But at the end of the day, I never disrespected anyone of my family that didn't speak English. That didn't speak English. So I spoke to them in Spanish because that was the only way of showing respect. I laugh because nowadays people clown these kids not knowing Spanish nowadays. No sabo. And whoever thought the tables were going to turn, because back then people would get embarrassed because they didn't know how to speak English. Now people get embarrassed they're not able to speak Spanish. What a trip, huh? Honestly, I didn't see that coming. And you know, it's very important and very vital now. Even jobs pay you more money when you know Spanish, or when you know more languages, more feria. You know, you could add that to your resume, and it makes you look like, man, it gives you a big plus. You might get priority even higher before anyone else that doesn't know Spanish. Little topic, little something to talk about, and how things have changed, and it's amazing. And besides that, I mean, man, we have a very beautiful culture, Mexicano raza, period. And my advice to you guys is to educate yourself, man. History doesn't matter what history. History is, I find it very interesting. I believe it repeats itself, and if you want to be able to make history, you gotta know history. So by any chance, pick up some books, study, get to know a little bit more of your culture, because there's more than just tacos, burritos, and tortillas and chile. You know what I'm saying? Teach our kids the Spanish language and our culture. It's beautiful. So like that, they grow up and keep on keeping the tradition alive. It's very important, because if they don't hear it from their parents, then they might open up and get other traditions and other customs from different cultures. And next thing you know, certain traditions and customs become forgotten. And we do have a very rich, beautiful culture. And real quick, the Spanish language is not the original language of the Mexicas, Mexican people. Back way back in the days, Nahuatl was our language. The indigenous the Aztec people and other local tribes had other dialects. When Cortés invaded Mexico, Tenochtitlan, he landed in Veracruz, which is a state or a city next to the shore. And, little by little, he made his way through, allied with people that hated the Aztecs. The Aztecs were very dominant on that region around that time. Little by little, he made it to the capital, Tenochtitlan, which is Mexico City now. Met up with Montezuma, which was the ruler at the time. And Cortés already had a plan in mind, conquer, and he noticed that Mexico was very rich in gold. Just imagine what took place. So with that, they took our beliefs, our religion, our language, our textbooks. They burned them and killed whoever they had to kill. A lot of people think that the Spaniards conquered Mexico with war, but nah. What killed most of the Aztecs, indigenous people at the time, was the smallpox. The smallpox was very deadly. We didn't have a cure for it. We lost a lot of people. Not only soldiers, but a lot of just civilians. Once they implemented religion and the language, people got baptized under the Catholic religion, and they gave us our names. A lot of our last names come from Spain, like some that end with the EZ, and there's other ones too, like Alvarez, Martinez, Rodriguez, so on and so forth. Here we are. Somewhat we got forced to pick up religion and point of views that weren't ours. You could say the white man came from Europe and did what they do best. The American Indians were not the only ones that were victimized and colonized. Do your homework. See how important it's good to know history. It's always good to know where you come from and where we at, because history repeats itself. And if you're out there trying to make a difference for your city, your community, for your hood, or whatever, homie, it's always good to know your history. It doesn't matter if it's worldwide history, local history, even your barrio history is important to know. Your community, your city. Feel me? That's just a little brief, quick history lesson for those who are interested. I'm not Mr. Know-It-All. I just shared a little bit of what I have, for those know-it-all individuals that maybe want to correct me or tell me that I'm wrong. It's okay. I'm humble to admit my wrongs, but hey, I'm here to make homies, not break them. So you get at me with respect. Not, ya sabes, homie, como se llamas, right? Peace.